Not everything right now is this bug that's going around, right? Not everything. It is wintertime. What do we have in the winter? Well, we have another man-made virus that goes around that's called the flu. Okay. That is not as fast changing as what, this other bug that they made out and released is. But it's still here. It hasn't went away. We also have allergies that create a sinusitis. Usually what occurs when sinusitis happens is the fact that your nasal cavity is small anyway. When the weather changes, it gets inflamed and irritated, therefore making your nasal cavity even smaller. So what happens is if everything doesn't drain properly, it creates an infection called sinusitis. Okay, that is usually treated with an antibiotic because it's an infection. It also can be treated by going to the chiropractor and having them do pressure point where your sacs of your drainage for your nasal cavities are on each side right here. When it gets all puffed up, that's what's occurring, is it's completely filled with yuck. So what chiropractors can do is they can do pressure point there that helps release it and drain it properly. It's so awesome when you don't have to take medicine for this. It's something that occurs more holistically. You can also help your body by making pine needle tea if you're not allergic to it, pregnant or breastfeeding, because it's not recommended for pregnant or breastfeeding people, even though it is a holistic remedy. Okay, it's just something about the extra hormonal things where not always a good reaction occurs. But basically what you do is, it's called tea because of the way that it's made. It doesn't taste anything like tea. It's not really, a tea that we typically think of when we say tea. So back in the day, they used to take leaves and boil them to get the oils out of them and make bubble gum and such. Okay, so this is the same aspect. You go to a white pine, any pine tree that does not have flat needles, it needs to have round needles. You go and you pluck some off of it, thanking it for providing, and you go home. You take a water, so a pan full of water, you boil. Okay, so what you're going to do with these needles while it's getting warmed up, the water is warmed up, you're going to take these needles, and the brown part you do not want. That's really yucky tasting and it has no nutritional value. It's kind of like where it connects to the bark. So what you're going to do with the pine is you're going to clip it probably about that long sections and make sure it goes into your pan. Okay, if you don't want to boil it, you just put it in really, really, really hot water in your cup. And usually they say in a cup, it floats to the bottom knowing that it's done. In a pan, you want to boil it for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what strength you want it. Then you would strain it. Okay, you can also get they have your own kind of pine needle bags that you can buy, or not pine needle bags, but tea bags that you can buy that are reusable, that you could probably seep into a cup like this. That way you wouldn't have to strain it afterwards, but either way it needs to be strained before you drink it. You can also add local honey. Local honey has local pollens which help boost your system. This pine needle tea does not really have a flavor, and depending on what tree you get it from depends on the color. Okay, so you can add it into hot chocolate or whatever else to give it flavor. You can add peppermint to it, whatever your heart's desire. What this does is it has way more vitamin C than a freshly squeezed orange, way more than 10 freshly squeezed oranges. It has vitamin A in it and a lot of different benefits. It's easy to look at on Google. Q1 is a very good one. It's rated 6 compared to Google. With Google search is rated 10. It's also not tracking you on Q1s. So regardless, you can easily look this up online if you don't believe what I'm saying or you want further information from it. It is a very, very old holistic remedy. A lot of holistic cures are found around us from what we call weeds and the trees that we need to replant that we're actually destroying. Okay, Mother Nature has a lot of these remedies that help. So don't just look at somebody that has the sniffles and automatically think it is this bug that they have put into your system. Okay, they put it into your system not to get you sick, but when I say that, I mean they put it into your system, into your mind. They are retraining you and being like, oh, red flag, they got the sniffles, it must be this bug that is supposedly killing everybody. This bug that is going around right now has a 95 to 98% survival rate. It is all about your immune system and how it reacts to any bug that attacks you, okay? Any food that you eat that is new could be the last bite of anything that you take according to how your body reacts. This is an individual thing. It doesn't have to do if you're already sick or not, okay? Hand washing, covering your mouth, you know, typical manners and hygiene will go a long way. If you want further information about the whole face diaper issue, you can look up, I have a link that I have shared, but I can put it in the description as well. There's actually a holistic doctor that was around for the AIDS era that has some great information about that. And then look up Stand Up Michigan. Tammy K. Clark is expert in the field. Her friend Kristen Megan Kelly is expert in that field. I think she said senior or executive industrial hygienist. So she's one that has to test environments and has to stay up on her stuff as well. They were local to my area, but they are glad to educate and travel to do so for everybody else that needs that expertise. And I would suggest before businesses make any drastic changes that they, ask these questions about, well, is it just their allergies? I wonder if their asthma is bothering them because of all these face diapers going around that are actually making people sick. Because you guys are not changing them properly. You don't even know what you're supposed to be wearing, okay? None of these face diapers are made to filter on the way out. They say on the boxes they're not even made for influenza, let alone any other type of virus, okay? You need to read on these boxes. If you look on Grey's Anatomy, it has a great example of if you go into a biochemical contaminated area, what they wear in the hospital, okay? Doctors get advice from people further up on them, as they are not the experts in everything. They're only on the experts on what they choose to educate themselves about. So I will be giving you links in the description and throughout this video. You will see them as well if you have not noticed them already. But please don't be judging people and giving them rude looks. You don't know what they're going through mentally, medically, physically, health-wise. Looks are very deceiving. A lot of us push through the day even though we have other things going on within, okay? Now everything is this bug that is going around. We still have our typical colds, our typical seasonal allergies, asthma, and other respiratory issues that are going around. Okay, yes, I know a lot of people lack common sense and go out when they're sick, but do you realize that some of those people may not have anybody else to do stuff for them, or they want to remain independent, or how about this? They can't afford the home delivery. Maybe they can't afford that free curbside pickup at Myers where you have to spend over $30 to get it. Otherwise, it's $5 extra a trip. You need to be more thoughtful and empathetic for others and stop letting more things divide our nation and us as individuals. We need to stop assuming and stop the hate on multiple levels. Talk to experts in their field. Talk to holistic doctors. Everybody's going to have a differing view, but there's doctors that I follow that are general practitioners, chiropractors, and experts in the virus and vaccine era, okay? I've talked to these people personally. Please do your own research. Yes, not everything on the web is correct, but there's a lot of stuff being hidden depending on what you're using, and you have to really dig for it. Because there are a lot of people that are doing wrong currently. So the only way a lot of these people that are risking their well-being are able to speak out against the wrongful doings that are occurring currently is through social media. And some people are losing family members, if not themselves, because they speak up. Does this stop them? No. More step forward. Okay? Some are too scared to do so. Everybody has their line, but please stop assuming and judging people. What if they have COPD and they cough because of it? What if it's a smoker's cough? What if they have bad asthma and they're reacting to something that they inhaled in the air that triggered them? Yes, some people are rude and they'll come up and breathe down your neck and try to cough on you. I've had older people do that. Also, please stop wearing gloves in the store unless you plan on changing them every time you touch something. It is considered cross-contamination, and you are actually spreading more germs than what you think you are. Overwashing your hands is also bad, and overusing hand sanitizer. You have to be careful what hand sanitizer you get nowadays, as many companies have started making it and were new to the process and got in trouble because their hand sanitizer was causing chemical burns, okay? So be careful when you're choosing them. Go with a company that was already doing it, where they have years into their formula, okay? You have to research everything nowadays. Also, if you choose to get any of these boosters to help prevent against bugs, okay, boosters. There's some that have taken years and they still don't work that well. The one currently out is a genetic changing one. They just really pushed it through. And when you have one of the producers of the booster saying that it's not needed, that's a red flag. The survival rate is a red flag, and you cannot go after them if you sign that paper stating that you waive all your rights to anything that should occur afterwards. And people are having reactions in the middle of getting this, let alone one dose. They're being lost after one dose. To each their own. It's okay, your positives and negatives for this issue, for any issue, before you take action. Because if the positives outweigh the negatives, it might be a good thing. But really dig in the background before you do anything, because in today's world, it's needed. In the meantime, please stop judging other people. We are supposed to be a free society, and no governed person or government body is supposed to be deciding our health for us. That is supposed to be an individual right. Okay? So you have to look within yourself to take care of yourself. The only thing they're supposed to be doing is backing what we decided together as a unit, a united front. What we wanted as our rules, regulations, and laws, and had them put into place. They are supposed to keep them there and uphold the Constitution and the Constitution of each state that they represent. That is their oath. Do you know not many of them know that? Okay. Doctors, schools, everybody is supposed to. So please take your own health and well-being into your own hands, and please let others do so as well without judgment. There's more than just one bug from the day that we are born. More than one that's man-made. More that's not going away, and we cannot do ourselves justice by going into a bubble and becoming germophobic. That does more harm than good. Get fresh air. Find natural ways with less side effects to them. And help yourself. And show love to others. Do not force your opinion. Do not force your judgment. If they ask, give them a helping hand. But if it's not harming you, let them be. Do as ye will, harm none. If it's not harming you, let them go down their path, whatever it may be. I hope you have a blessed Friday. I hope it's warm where you are, as there's snow all over the place here, and it's dipping down into temperatures that I think are worse than Alaska. And I'll talk to you later.
Everything's gonna be